NCAA basketball totals for Monday, November 28th. We got 3 games on the card today. Don't forget to check out SBR, all the numbers, all the odds, sportsbook reviews, sign up bonuses, all that good stuff at our website. Be sure to check it out. We also have our NBA segment out there as well. We got 3 games we're going to be looking at today in NCAA hoops. Here we go. Let's break it down. First one we got is Minnesota and Florida State. This game's at Florida State. And oddsmaker set a really big total here, 155.5. But I'm going to go over that total. Right now, we got Minnesota averaging 80.7 points per game. Florida State, they've been getting up and down the floor, averaging 90.8 points per game. That ranks 9th in the country. As well, Florida State, they were one of the better scoring teams, scoring offense in the ACC last year. We know that conference is no joke. I think they were third, like second or third. They were right up there. A team that's kind of changed their identity over the last couple years. They got some good returners like Bacon back, and they can score. Defensively, Florida State, they're allowing 75.3 points per game, and Minnesota, they're allowing 66.5. So for me, it's going to be, can Minnesota keep up? I think they can. You got a Minnesota team here that's shooting a 47% overall. That's solid. And a 53.4% on their two-point shots. That's solid. Florida State defensively, not bad. They're allowing opponents to shoot just over 40%. Pretty good. But I think Minnesota is going to be able to keep up as we get into their attempts. Now, Minnesota, although they're only averaging 58.2 attempts per game, they're allowing 64.8. So they're going to allow that sort of tempo. And you look at the matchups they've had, like when they went with Arkansas, we ended up at 85-71, and that's a pretty fast team, in which that was a home game for them. I think we're going to see something similar to that tonight. So I think Minnesota is going to be able to keep up. Florida State's going to score. You can count on that. Here, the Seminoles right now, they're getting up 63.7 attempts per game, and they're allowing 63.2. So I think both teams are going to allow over 60 attempts, and that's going to help get us over this total. Florida State also, they've been shooting the ball extremely well. They're shooting 52.6% from the floor. That ranks 6th in the country. So at the end of the day, 59.2% of their two-point shots. Minnesota's been pretty good defensively, but now they're on the road. I don't think they'll be able to lock down Florida State, and I like for this game to really get up and down. I think the shooting percentages are going to be there tonight, so look for this to get over that 155.5. A bit big, which gives me pause, but I think we're going to get there. So I'm going to go over in that game. Next one we got here, we got Butler and Utah. That's going to be a really good matchup. 2 good defensive teams and offensive teams. Odds makers have it at 144, and that seems low at first glance, but it's not. I'm going to go ahead and go under the total on this. We got Butler right now. They're averaging 80.2 points per game. Utah's been great, 89.5, but we look at them defensively. Right now, Utah's allowing just 59 points per game. Now, they haven't really played anybody, and Butler's going to be a whole new challenge, but they are at home, so that should help them in this matchup. Butler, no joke, they're allowing just 61 points per game. What I like is the real conflicting percentages here. That's why I like under that 144. I think we're going to see a battle that really keeps us under this total. Butler, they're averaging 57.8% of their two-point shots, but Utah has been they're number 1 in the country right now. They're allowing just 27.2% on their two-point shots. That's going to change because, like I said, they really haven't played anybody. Riverside and Coppin State, and then they had a couple no-name games. So it's going to be very different, but at least they're showing the propensity to play some. I mean, they're playing some defense. So I think they're going to step it up tonight against a Butler team that's really good. Utah knows they're going to have to play some D to beat Butler. That's a good basketball team right there. Utah, their attempts are pretty high right now, 65.5 attempts. And here's another conflicting stat. Like, Butler is pretty efficient offensively, but on the defensive side, they've been good. And while Utah's getting up a lot of attempts, which, I think we're going to go up tempo, Butler, they're allowing just 49.7 attempts per game. That ranks 10th in the nation. That's really good defensively. I think both these teams play enough defense. Again, their defensive scoring, Utah has allowed 59 per game, and Butler has allowed 61 per game. That's really low. That ranks in the top 20 of the country, both of them. So I think we're going to see more of a defensive affair with these two, and I'm going to back under that 144. That's going to be a real grind right there, that game. Last one up, we got Boise State and Oregon. 138, and that seems low. Last year they played to over 140, a game which Boise State was able to squeak out. I don't know if they're going to be able to beat them at Oregon, but I'm going to go under that 148. I'm going to go under it. Right now, Boise State, they're averaging 72 points per game. You got Oregon averaging 70.8. They've been banged up a little bit too. Defensively, they're both allowing 66 points per game. But when we get into their percentages, and the attempts is really what gets me on this. You got some good matchups here. You got Boise State averaging 58.5% of their two-point shots, but Oregon is allowing just 45% on their two-point shooting, and they're allowing under 40% in overall shooting. Good defensive team there in Oregon, although they haven't started out the season as well as people anticipated. They've been a little bit banged up. Attempts, Boise State's getting up 55.8 attempts per game. Oregon's getting up, 56 attempts per game. Also, Oregon's not shooting the ball particularly well, just over 42%. Overall, that's not great. That ranks outside the top 200 teams. They're going to improve. UCLA is going to probably give them some trouble in the Pac-12, but I'm still not really sure about how that Pac-12 is going to mesh out. It's going to be interesting to see as the season moves along. Attempts, Boise State's only allowing 53 attempts per game. I just don't see this getting over that 138. I think this is going to be a tough game for Boise State to score, and I think Oregon's going to struggle a little bit as well. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take under that total 138. It actually looks a little bit low, but it's not. All right, quick recap. Here we go. We got Minnesota, Florida State over the 155.5, Butler, Utah under the 144, and Boise State, Oregon under the 138. Those are NCAA basketball totals picks, and I wish you luck on your picks today.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.